Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Let's get back to Iraq. Good thing these two gentlemen are still in charge. While the rest of the world tries to figure out what the heck Iraq is going to do with their government, these two keep moving forward and do what's necessary for the Iraqi people. We know that their budget relies too much on the oil that they sell and that they need to start doing something more in the private sector. And it sounds to me like some plans are being put forward to make that happen. Before we get started, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel and I surely do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying precious metals, go check out our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. Oh yeah, this is what we like to see right here. Al-Qadimi's advisor puts forward a proposal to double the growth rates. Oh yeah, baby. That's what we want to see. The financial advisor to the Prime Minister, Saleh, proposed on Saturday to raise the volume of investment in 6 sectors to double growth rates, and while detailing employment rates in 3 vital sectors, he identified the reasons for their decline. Saleh said to the official news, Iraq has put at the forefront of its priorities seeking to enter the prospects of development and accelerated development and transcend the stage of rentier economy or the mono economy, as crude oil still constitutes the largest weight in the component of the gross domestic product. In other words, they rely too much on oil still. They need to do something about it, and it sounds like Saleh has an idea. The crude oil extractive industry sector still accounts for more than half of the contributions to the country's GDP, as oil revenues remain the major lever to finance investments and development in the sectors targeted by this country's development plans. Saleh pointed out that the national workforce is divided sectorally and, strangely, as the workforce in the crude oil sector, which is the largest contributor to the formation of the country's gross domestic product, does not exceed only 2% of the total Iraqi labor force. And the agricultural sector share the gross domestic product, it does not exceed 5% at best and includes 21% of the labor force, as well as the manufacturing industry, which accounts for 1% of the gross domestic product and includes in its ranks 18% of the labor force. So these other contributions to the GDP have some pretty good size percentages of the labor force, but really do not contribute a whole lot to the overall revenue for the GDP. Not like the oil sector. So what they're saying is that's a problem. This means there's a clear structural imbalance and low productivity polarization in the agriculture and industrial transformational sectors in the interest of human concentration working in the service sectors, with low productivity and coexisting on the outputs of the rentier sector returns in the economy. Saleh explained that the 5-year and 10-year economic and social development plans are the ones that determine the sectoral and overall growth rates in order to bring about fundamental change in the contributions of the vital production sectors other than crude oil sector to the gross domestic product, which is what is called diversifying the production sector of the overall economy. Yeah, they need to do something about this. We've been speaking about this for years now. Iraq needs to take that money that they make from the oil revenue and start rebuilding a lot of the different sectors that are out there, which is what has been happening ever since Al-Qadimi has been in office. Still, too much of the budget relies on the revenues generated by the oil, which again means it's not too secure of an economy. If we're thinking about changing the overall exchange rate of the Iraqi dinar, you must first have a very secure economy. It's not secure. If something should happen to the oil prices whatsoever, it affects the entire economy of Iraq. We saw that happen in 2020. So the Prime Minister's advisor proposing solutions pointed to the importance of change in production patterns and their components in employment labor and investing in national capital for the benefits of the real virtual sectors, starting from maximizing the role of the agricultural section in the gross domestic products and ending with the manufacturing industry and digital services, without forgetting that there is a major restriction on the diversification of representative restriction on that diversification is represented by the consistent initiation of investment in physical and institutional infrastructure. He stressed that the growth in the various sectors increased by a double rate whenever the rates of investment in the infrastructure of the economy increase. Well, if that's the case, then they obviously need to keep pumping more money into infrastructure. If that's what they're saying right now, it doubles in rate, well, then keep pumping money into the infrastructure. The private and public sectors, let's get them rocking and rolling. Well, it looks like OPEC is giving in. They're going to increase oil production. This is after agreeing on the increase. OPEC reveals the share of Iraq's oil production. So this is good. Iraq is going to make more than $150 billion this year in oil revenue alone. That's great for the year. It's great to help them get out of the hock that they're in, take care of the loans, but they still need to get their budget together, and they still need to get their government together. I'm pretty content on having Al-Qademi and President Saleh continue doing what they're doing. Whatever they're doing, it's been successful. Since the coordination framework and the Souders movement are having trouble agreeing and moving forward to elect the government that they're looking for, this could drag on for God knows how long. And in the meantime, we're pretty content with having Al-Qademi in there with Saleh, that's for sure. Says Al-Qademi's advisor proposes a price for a barrel of oil in the budget and requires sending it with parliamentary authorization. So it'll be a little tough if you can't even get them together just to vote on the president. So in order for them to make a proposal for the 2022 budget on the cost per barrel of oil, they need to get it authorized. But I do like what they're saying. Even though oil is over $100 a barrel right now, you can't budget for that, simply because the demand for oil is high right now. With the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, that's helping out Iraq big time and the OPEC members. But if for whatever reason that gets settled and stops, and all of a sudden the restrictions are removed from Russians' oil deporting, then you're going to see the price of oil go down. So they need to strike it while the coals are hot, do what they need to do to start rebuilding the infrastructure and getting as many things taken care of as possible. Invest into infrastructure big time. Get more and more people back to work. Sauder was trying to motivate the independent of the parliamentary to form their own group. I know that these group of independents are speaking with one another, trying to figure out if they're going to move forward with Sauder's plans or if they're going to move forward with the coordination framework. That has not been decided yet. And of course, you have Al-Qademi and Saleh stressing the need to support dialogue in resolving the outstanding issues. You know, it's kind of hard to deal with other countries when you're not even sure what type of government is going to be in Iraq. And I'm sure that's got to be a little bit frustrating with Al-Qademi and Saleh, although they continue to move forward doing what's best for the Iraqi people. This is a real serious game of chicken that Sauder's playing with Maliki's people, the coordination framework. The first one to give is going to be in a really bad situation, because if Maliki and the coordination framework flinch and Sauder gets what he wants, then you can expect, and I'm really anticipating a lot of indictments and people going to jail. If Maliki manages to find a way to get in there and be part of the government, I'm curious to see how other nations are going to respond to this. He was a part of the biggest portion of corrupt government that the nations had problems with. So putting him back anywhere in the government is really going to reflect bad on Iraq, in my opinion. When you think about what needs to be done before you could change the exchange rate, having a government that's not corrupt, having a government that's formed, having a budget, no civil unrest, no terrorists, you want them to be safe, you know, the whole 9 yards. I've spoken about it many times. it always feels like we're right on the edge of getting there. It looks like things are going in the right direction, and then there's always these little hurdles. But at least they're not going 2 steps forward and 10 steps back like they used to. Now it's more like they're going 2 steps forward and a half step back every now and then. Still looking good, but dealing with a lot of BS on the side. Oil rises to $111 per barrel in fear of a shortage. This does nothing but help Iraq out, so they really need to take advantage of this money and continue to invest in their infrastructure. So they are moving in a good way. I had opportunities to chat with people. People are concerned that I'm sounding negative about this. No, not negative. I love the progress that's happened since Al-Kadhimi's been in office. What I try to do is stay grounded. We know what needs to be done, so we keep an eye on this. We keep an eye on all the things that are needed in order for the exchange rate to change. It's not that I'm being negative. What I'm being is a realist. I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your butt and try to tell you that everything is going to be good and tomorrow you're going to see numbers on the back screens. Somebody's going to put some codes in there. The people are at the redemption center standing by. You get your 800 numbers. No, I'm not going to do none of that crap. All right? We know, and I've made it more than enough videos explaining to people what countries are looking for before they change their exchange rate. Iraq is like teetering right there at the doorstep. They really are. They just got to get past all this BS. Get the government formed. Become stable. Make sure the country is safe and secure. No uprisings. Continue to develop the other sectors of the nation so that they're not so reliant on oil. Those types of things. So they do look good. I think they'll be just fine, but it's not going to happen overnight. That's for sure. Anyways, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.